really quick, let's dive into the military aspect if you're good with that.
Yeah.
Talk about what you did in the Army. What was your military occupational specialty, deployment?
Sure.
Break
Yeah.
it down really quick.
So I went in the military as infantry starting off, and pushed to be something special like all of us try to do. And I got into a special operations unit, long range surveillance, which put me in a position to do some schools, which was really cool. And I deployed with long range surveillance, and that was there was a lot of ups and downs in all that. So.
Leading into everything with horse and equine therapy is the downs, right? Is the downside of things of being in the military. And like what we see a lot of like with our military service members and our first responders is the downside of it, the not so glamorous part of the profession.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned, appreciate you being open and honest about it and being vulnerable, where you're saying the horses really helped you become a kid again and feel happy because of those downs. So, I guess my question to you is, where did those downs come from? Did you get help? Did you recognize those? And then how did horses help you?
One of the things that I've come to realize is the things that keep you up at night, the terrors that you have, is not like the actions you take. It's the things that you can't change. And it's not, the missions that you go on, it's the ones that failed, that people, don't come back on. And even something as, I had a guy on a team who took his own life, and that even, is something that I think, what could I have done different? I should have talked to him differently. And, then there's people that you lose in combat, and that's devastating because you're like, well, what if I could have been a better version of myself, and maybe I could have made a difference? And that's the stuff that really kept hitting me. Is I was like, I could have been 10 times the person I was. I should have been 10 times the person I was. And I hit that a lot. And then when you get out, and I went back to the normal world, I don't think that I thought that I had a problem. And this is where what we do, or military veterans can ride for free, and we have no red tape. They can all just ride for free. It comes from this. I think that a lot of people coming out have traumas. And from what I've realized with a lot of these veterans coming here is these traumas come from all over the place. Most people in the military don't even go to combat, but they still come out with traumas, and there's still a lot of stress. And some people have traumas because they didn't go to combat and they felt like they didn't do enough. And, so there's all of these different things that happen. And I feel like horses can fix like 90% of these problems. And I don't think that most of them believe they have a problem until it's fixed. It took me years and years and years later to realize that the horses were therapy and that they were the thing that healed me. I just thought that, hey, I found my hobby, I found my passion, I found my thing. And later on, I realized I found healing.
Yeah, so, therapy through that.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that you mentioned, which is the big misconception in the military, is that, hey, I never went to combat. There's no way I could have PTSD or PTSI, however you want to explain it or break it down, whatever acronym you want to use. But still, there's a lot that goes on with every single service member because you are experiencing trauma, whether you were in combat or not.
Yeah, and I went to combat, and I have my traumas involved with that. But I don't believe that I have more right to this therapy, or that someone else shouldn't speak about it because they didn't have that same experience. And that's why I'm almost not willing to talk about my experiences directly, because it doesn't matter. We all have our traumas, and I don't want the red tape. I don't want this to be a thing where you have to prove that you have a trauma or you have a problem to be able to come here and get the healing from the horses. You're a veteran, you're my brother, you're my sister, and you can come here and get this healing. And that's what I want.